Joel, how's the bicep?
It's getting better. It's just a little maintenance thing that we have to deal with, but it's getting better.
Joel, so much talk this week has been about you guys in the red zone, specifically inside the 10-yard line. You guys have, I think, 16 trips, 15 scores, but 9 touchdowns. And you guys were 0 for 2 in Atlanta Sunday. So I guess just how do you guys up the touchdown percentage there?
I think it's really just about executing. I think we've had success down there. Last game was, not as successful as we wanted, and we talked about wanting to execute better, run or pass. Whatever's called down there, we have the ability to execute. You saw, in the first game of the season, we passed down on the one and we scored. So there's plays that we have. Usually they're pretty good plays when we call them, so we just got to really go out and execute them. And don't hurt ourselves. We had a penalty down there this time. We had things of that nature that really throw you off when you're on first and goal on the one, and then it's on the 11 it's a little bit different. So there's some things we can improve, but we've been focused on it as well this week.
How about Khalil Mack? Can you just talk about just how good he is and what he presents?
Yeah, he's a great player. He does everything really well. You put him out on the edge, he can stop the run, he can wreak havoc in the run game, and he's been pass rushing really well this year as well. He kind of can play both sides now. They let him with Joey Bosa out. Those two are a great tandem, but with Joey out, he can kind of play where he likes, on the right or the left side. And he has great moves, but he's a heck of a player for them, and he's definitely something that we have our eye on this week.
Joel, what do you think of the job that Jed's done so far this year now that the ankle injury isn't impacting him like it did last year?
Yeah, he's playing really well. I think last game was one of his better games here in Cleveland. Just really on top of his assignments, getting his job done. Huge test this week with Khalil Mack, that's going to be a big step up for him in competition. But I mean, he's playing really well. You saw in that touchdown run, he had a nice block down the field. Just doing some really good things, and I think he's had a whole offseason to really focus and know what he needs to improve on, and he's healthy.
I was going to ask about that, the blocks he got on that touchdown run. He did his little high step celebration after that second one. What did you think of that?
Oh, it's great. Anytime you get some energy out of him and some excitement, it's a big time play for him. But no, it's great, man. Anytime you have a big run, there's always someone that lands a key block, and that was one of them on that play.
Joel, you've been here for a while. It's been brought up again this week about closing games, where this team needs to kind of learn how to win. Do you think that's a little overblown, or is there something to learning how to close out games with the team? You guys have a lot of veteran guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's NFL. Everything's overblown. It's a week to week, you know what I mean? You win a game, you're going to the Super Bowl. You lose a game, you're, the worst team in the league. So it's definitely a little bit overblown, but there's something to it. There's something to finishing games, to winning games down the stretch. We were in a very similar situation in Carolina. We found a way to win that game. Obviously the Jets game didn't turn out, but we found a way to win Pittsburgh. Our defense stepped up at the end there, and we had a chance this game to at least go down and tie, and we didn't execute well enough. But it's not something crazy overall scheme. It's just a play-to-play basis. Like, how do you get better? How do you figure it out?
When the decision's made to go for it on fourth down in the goal line, does that feel good? Like you vote of confidence, like you're ready to go. Like that are you aggressive like that? Where you want to go for it instead of
Yeah, I think you look at everything in today's age. Teams score points. Coach Stefanski's proven that he's a guy that wants to go for the touchdowns when he can, and it's almost to a point now where it's like you're shocked when the field goal team comes on or the punt team comes on in those fourth and short, 4th and 3 and 4 situations. Because a lot of times we're going for it, and we have a huge number of attempts. You know what I mean? And we obviously, again, it comes down to execution, and you want to you want that number to be closer to 60 or 70% instead of where it's at like 40 or 45%. Going for those situations. But I think it's just like a situation by situation thing. I don't know exactly what his play sheet says or when to go for it or if it's a feel thing or not, but I know they have some numbers behind it, and in the feel of the game and all that stuff matters too.
As one of the guys up front, what's the secret to a successful quarterback sneak? Jacoby was joking yesterday he could lay down and get a first down, but it seems like a fairly simple thing to do, but certainly understand it's not simple. So what's the key to making those so successful?
Yeah, I mean, Jacoby's a great QB sneaker, so that helps. He's a big guy. I don't know quite how much he weighs, but he's a big dude. I joke with him sometimes. I'm like, oh, you could have played some DN for us this week and stuff like that. But no, I mean, You got Poe in the middle. He's a big anchor, Wyatt and myself. The tackles do a good job. We kind of disguise it sometimes with some different formations as well. But really, it's just like low pad level, drive your feet, understand, what's the point of, the sneak. But Jacoby does a great job. If they close off the A gaps, he'll sneak out in the B gap, or if there's something open, he can make a play. But it's really, we do work on a lot. It's hard to work full speed, but we, go against, defenses and looks and see kind of how we want to attack things. And Jacoby has a lot of options with it.
Joe, what about the impact of getting Miles Garrett back for this game and what that would mean?
Oh, it's huge. He's, I think the centerpiece of our defense. And if you watch the first, 3 games that he played in this year, a lot of resources are put on him, even if he's not getting a sack on a play. The slides coming his way, he's getting chipped, he's getting double teamed. I think Pittsburgh, there might have been like 1 or 2 plays where he wasn't double teamed. So it's an ultimate compliment to him, and I think it opens it up for the other guys. But it does a lot for our defense and our scheme. And just he's one of our best players. So the morality of our moral of our team, not morality, moral of our team. It brings it up as well.
What about the idea of this is the meat of your schedule? These 8 games, gauntlet of good teams.
Yeah.
The first 3 are at home. So the idea of gaining some momentum and identifying what the personality of this team is.
Yeah.
Part of the year right now.
Yeah, it's important. We're kind of at we're at 500 right now. We're at a real turning point in the season, just because the farther you get along, the less games there are to play, and you can't afford to throw ones away. But we don't really look at it in we got the next 9 games, because it's such a week-by-week league. You don't know who you're going to be playing next week, if someone gets hurt or someone gets banged up or things happen. So we're really focused on, the Chargers and what they're going to bring to us. But we know we have tough teams on our schedule, and we know we have, big games that we're going to have to win down the stretch. But right now it's really just week by week, and it really is a week-by-week league. So we'll see, after this game, who we got next.
Does anything stick with you from going out to SoFi and facing those guys last year that you can apply?
We did some good stuff in the run game last year. We had some big chunk plays. We know they're a tough team because they're going to score a lot of points as well. But they're very multiple in their fronts. They run a base 3-4, but they have 6-1. They can run a jam. They can run a penny. And Derwin James is kind of their queen this week. We talked about Grady Jarrett last week. Derwin James kind of lines up everywhere. He can be on the line of scrimmage, deep third. He can kind of do everything for him. So they have a lot of good things. But that game, it was a shootout. It was another tough one. They went for it on 4th down, I think, a bunch as well. It was one of those games where it's, the analytics or whatever, people were talking about and stuff. But no, it was a fun game, and hopefully they got to come out here this time and we can return the favor.